Yes, beautiful people, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite show on the land, I must say, not so complicated. A show, like I always say, brought to you by the Innovation Consortium. And guess what? Like we always tell you, we only bring you nothing but the best. Oh, yes. Yes, and today we host a lady, not just a lady, but an iron lady. She'll be introducing herself. My name is Brian Lion, and allow me to introduce my panel today. On my right, I have D Mama Makubuya, a joker. Never been serious. How are you, sir?
Except today. I'm very serious today.
Glad to have you on the show. Yes, and how are you?
I'm fine.
What is your name?
I'm Barbara Nanteza Marjorie.
Barbara Nanteza Marjorie. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Yes, and the one and him, Bobon, the dreamer. How are you, boys? Did you have breakfast? The mood is low, man. Or digestion is taking place.
It's digesting.
Oh, yes. And the weight loss king. How are you, boys?
I'm good.
Man, you look fresh.
Yeah, but you made a mistake. This is the best show, not on the land only, but aliens may be watching it.
So it's land, sea, and air.
Everywhere. Oh, yes. Glad to have you on the show.
Same here.
Yes, and today, my main guest is Dr. Barbara Nanteza. In a bit, you need to find out who she is, what she does, what she eats, and how she grinds people. Yeah, in a bit. Yes, so, once again, glad to have you on the show. Once again.
Thank you.
Yes, and who is Nanteza?
Nanteza Barbara is a 47-year-old lady.
Okay,
Very
like how you
happy
began.
to know my years. I don't
Okay.
deduct.
Okay.
They are my actual years because everything I'm
Minus
happy
2.
about my years.
Okay.
No. I'm the founder and CEO of Adela Daycare,
Okay.
Kindergarten and Primary School.
Okay.
I'm a founder of Marjorie Charity Foundation. I am the National Coordinator, Safe Male Circumcision, Minister of Health in Uganda.
Okay.
And I'm someone who loves the vulnerable people, especially the girls and the elderly.
What about the boys?
It's more about the
You do
vulnerable.
circumcision and you're talking about boys.
Okay, and also the boys when they
Okay.
become vulnerable to HIV/AIDS.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. And let's go back to where you went to school. How did you become Dr. Nanteza?
My journey has not been a very smooth one, but when you tussle it out, you enjoy the fruits better. Someone said Nelson Mandela and Bill Clinton, who liked their life more, people said it was Mandela because he really struggled to get where he was.
Sure.
I began my primary in Chira. I don't know if people know Chira, but that's where I began, P1 to P7. And then after that, I went to Narusunsa Girls School, my O-level. And then I went to Chivuli, SS, for my HSC.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, I went to Makerere University, where I did a bachelor in nursing, which I can admit that I hated so much. And I'm the first person who moved from the bachelor nursing to medicine. So people spend 5 years and they complain. I spent 7. But out of those 7 years, I got 3 degrees. A bachelor in nursing for the first 4 years, medicine and surgery for 3 years. I was happy they never took me back to first year, so I began from 3rd year, and then I got that bachelor. No. I loved children, so I worked with children in Kasanga Health Center for where I was in charge, but things were not so good, so I preferred to move away from government, and then I went to a private. That was PAEDIATRIC, which is now the current Baylor. There I was working with children who were infected with HIV. After working for 3 years, I didn't like what was happening to the children. The children were really dying and really affected me, but that is when I picked my pediatric skills. After that, I decided to go for a master's in University of Melbourne in Australia, and I did purely public health, and I majored in biostatistics and epidemiology.
Okay, I'm ready.
I came back
And
worked,
She's breaking all out.
worked with government from October 2011
Government of
as
Austria.
Which government?
Government of Uganda. I
So
had
there
to
is
come
a
back and serve
No,
my
there's a government
country.
in Kamocha also.
I served with the legitimate government, which is government of Uganda, and I did my public health, and that's when I became the national coordinator for safe male circumcision, which job I've done from October 2011 up to today.
Oh, okay.
And I've just graduated, defended my PhD, which was a sandwich from Johns Hopkins University in USA and Makerere University, and
So you
That
are a
is
doctor.
I think I'm just a doctor. I
One
don't know, I
good.
have a PhD.
Okay, I got lost
So
somewhere.
that is
but-
how
was
I've
somewhere
studied.
Chambogo University of Uganda, Wagwan, with a master's degree in show hosting. So, that's quite a bio, that's quite a
That's a
CV.
mouthful, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't just host people, not any local people, not any normal people, but real people. That was a joke. Yes, and now, you talked a lot about kids in circumcision. So, which kind of a doctor exactly are you?
When you deal with children, you become a pediatrician. So
Right.
like I said, when I had just graduated, I had the skills of being a nurse and being also a doctor. I felt I could best use them as a person caring for children. So I cared for children, but then I went more into the specialty of caring for those that have suffered from HIV, something I'm very proud of. And it made me appreciate children's way of life, because any child is born healthy. It is how they interact with the environment that makes them sick. And then that's when, after I moved into public health. But one of the things that I love so much is about children.
Oh, okay, now let's talk about children then. Now, tell us about, I have a son, a proud father, he has 0. You're a mother?
Yes,
You have
Oh,
evidence
yes.
that I've
And Byron, you're equally a father. Jiko is going to be a father soon, and he still remains on 0. And, you know, kids are sickly.
my kids out there, he's right.
Kids are sickly with, you know, lots of various diseases. So let's talk about those common diseases in children.
The common diseases in children are basically the one that they get from the environment, and the most common one in Africa, maybe due to our ways of life, is diarrhea. And then I always get hurt when someone has diarrhea. It should be self-limiting. Diarrhea means you've taken in something which the body has to reject by the child having a
The way
lot
we
of...
are rejecting the fuel prices.
But then here people come up with fragile, whatever, antibiotics.
Ban.
It should only be ORS, which is salt and sugar. Basically, you're replacing what the child is taking. So diarrhea is the most common because of things not being clean. But I don't know why people go into antibiotics. Diarrhea shouldn't be treated with antibiotics. Then another one is the upper respiratory tract infections, with the most common symptom being cough. And then people would say pneumonia. You're not having pneumonia until someone tells you your lungs are being affected. Otherwise, cough can just be this mild cough, which you just treat with simple antibiotics. But when they talk about pneumonia, it means that the lungs are becoming inflamed. I don't know if that one you know it. But
I'll explain to them after that.
so the upper respiratory tract infection should be treated like, even some people can use the herbs. They can use
Be
Septrin.
specific, some herbs.
We used to use
Is that 3-leaf herb? Eh?
Like I told you, my journey included being in the village. There are the things whereby you get the leaves of mangoes, eucalyptus, you know, those ones. As long as you have boiled them, there's ash, always it's good. But people always go for the cannulas, and you're like, if someone is
Cannula
2
for
years
cough.
and they are getting cannulas, what will they get when they become much older? So me, I'm someone who likes treating children conservatively. And that one even brings me to my own children. I think my daughter has just received a cannula, and she's 5 years, and I think the older one, who is 9, has never gotten a cannula. These are Ugandans, they interact with anyone in the common environment. It doesn't mean that every time a child falls sick, you should
Put on a cannula.
go for cannula. So for me, I'm someone who's against cannula. I like first treating the children conservatively. You start with the oral, which can be a tablet or a syrup. Maybe that's when it fails, that's when now you go to a cannula. But otherwise, I hate cannulas. And then also another common infections among children are the skin infections. Usually when the children are young, they'll be getting eczemas, they'll be getting fungal infections, which usually is about hygiene. And I don't want parents to freak out, oh, my child is very sick, I should take them to this hospital. No. I always ask people, when the animals fall sick, who takes them to hospital?
Nobody.
There are certain things that are self-limiting. Even these skins, it is a matter of knowing what is the person is allergic to. Usually there are skin infections about allergy. You just have to know what is the child allergic to, and then...
What are they reacting to?
Yes, like most children when they are young, they react to nuts. It can be nuts, they can be cashew nuts, but for us in our environment, it's basically groundnuts. And that is something, when they get to eat them over time, they become sensitized and their skins become proper. Such that by the time someone is 6 years, they are okay. I had a daughter who had a very, very bad skin. The more we use the modern treatments, the more the skin flared.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I can tell I don't even know what healed my daughter, but at the end of the day, now he's being, we know what makes her react, but then it was somehow like self-limiting, other than people freaking out and they try this and they try the other. So I think children should be left to...
Different people react to different things.
Yes, and the more they get exposed to that, something they react to, the allergen, they always become better.
That explains a lot why that man reacts to beer. That's that good reaction.
Yeah, so
You should
let's,
keep taking it until...
yes, so let's talk about those things that we're supposed to avoid as parents with children.
We have a lot of new fathers and
Yes,
mothers out
yes,
there, and
so,
they're embarking on it. And actually, a friend of mine called Tebusweke Semakula. This is a shout out to you. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, okay.
He's a new
Everyone
father.
knows.
Yes, he's a new father, and I
One
know
child.
this is going to be a new journey for him. Probably, if you can throw out a few hints for a few Semakulas out there, like that, really, what to avoid, the common misconceptions out there or something.
There are very many, but probably I'm going to be talking about the ones that I know. First of all, I've witnessed very many mothers. They get, are they called bassinets? You see an African Ugandan mother having a baby, they put on a shawl, they put on that.
The kid becomes an Eskimo, they overcover them.
Those things are done in countries where there is winter. But you find that someone is in very hot Uganda, the child is overcovered, I hear the mother-in-law told me this, told me the other. So at the end of the day, you find that the child is sweating, the child is crying because the child can't talk. All he has to do is to sweat. So I tell parents, please don't import things from US, whatever things you see on TV, and just put them on your children. Actually, when you go to US or other developed countries, those children are just dressed up and they never cover them. They never cover their children. They just put them in their clothes and then put them on the bed. So when these...
Is that because their buildings are temperature controlled?
It can be, but also as with our tropical environment. I think already
so what
we
their
don't
buildings
need...
are achieving for us, we have naturally.
We have naturally, but then you find that a mother puts on a cape, puts on a... the child is swaddled, and all the time the child is sweating, they get skin rash. Then another thing, they put powder. Powder is put on people with probably a damp skin, but then you find that a child, then they start putting powder. And I'm like, who told you to put powder?
Powder is for...
It is not for babies. I don't know who. Actually, it is for us when you have kashaino. Remember those days of
but there's
Nanteza?
baby powder.
You're shining. Because you people
after
like
Mahunga,
it. It is for a child who needs the powder. But if your child is healthy, why are you applying powder? For what?
Oh.
Maybe the best thing you can do, apply oil, but not powder. The powder dries the skin, and then it gets cracks. And when they get cracks, it becomes infected. So I think those are all things people should be told. Then there's another thing. Feeding bottles. I don't know where people came up with feeding bottles. Why would people use feeding bottles?
Okay.
Feeding bottles are the most culprits for children's diarrhea because very few people can clean them. Parents always give the work to the maids. If this maid came from Chana Mukaka and then you're telling them to start taking care of your feeding bottle, I think that is also very wrong. Children should be taking from the cup. There are those small cups which you can keep upgrading your child to, but not giving them feeding bottles. Child should start taking those things maybe after exclusively breastfeeding for 6 months. Then after that, they should be given a cup. A feeding bottle means that canipo. It is very, very bad. It is done killing our children. So those are some of the things I can tell parents offhand, and also the nutrition. In Uganda, you find that we have two types of nutrition. Overnutrition, which is now very common.
Overnutrition.
Now you're talking about your friend.
Ladies and
The children are
gentlemen.
eating ice cream, they are eating chips and chicken, they are eating
Junk.
sausages, they are basically taking a lot of junk, they are taking a lot of soda. Then those children are malnourished, but looking very obese.
So we think
And then you
they're
tell them,
healthy.
please swim, please swim. Why in the first place did you tell them to get?
After swimming, not like sausage.
All of you guys see these children, actually you take them swimming, then after that you give them ice cream, you give them chips. Then what was the
What's
essence
done
of you
is
taking
zero.
them to a swimming
You
pool?
go here.
And then there are those underprivileged
I'm going to
who
watch
are
this show again.
malnourished.
Yeah.
Those ones who are malnourished, the food that they can eat is very, very cheap. Silver fish, which is called mukene. Just pound that and give the child. The child will be okay. You don't have to look for chicken, sujui, sausages. Just give them that and maybe groundnuts. Give them beans. And then the children should be allowed to eat the normal food, cassava, posho, sweet potatoes. Don't go for processed food. Processed food is not healthy for the children. And then also allow the children once in a while to go to the village, because in the village they'll find their mango, they'll find their jackfruit, they're even running around. But for you, make sure that you brood your children like a chicken. Always you want them to be around you when they go to the judge's home. You don't want them to talk or walk, or I think that's
Play
not
with our
right.
kids. Oh, yeah.
The children are always enclosed in your fences. Yes, but for you, are you enclosed in a fence while growing up?
I don't know. Leader.
So we should
There are
allow
fewer
the
predators
children.
We will let you.
There are fewer predators
No,
there.
it is not right. Even these children, they only know you. Maybe at times when you have a bad personality. When are they going to interact with someone with a good personality? So me, I'm of the view children should be allowed to be children. They should be allowed to go out. They should be allowed to play. And when they go to play, don't overprotect them. Allow them get hurt. When they get hurt, they'll say, oh, when I run and maybe I can get an accident. But we're overprotecting the children. The children have become too much of .com.
You've reminded me of something the Prime Minister of Uganda said recently. Here we shouldn't prepare for the kids. We should just prepare the kids. Literally, but prepare the kid. What is going to face?
And then lastly, the parents, when you overgive the children phones or these, are they called
What?
PlayStations?
Mobile devices.
Yeah, the child is not physically fit. For me, I think, like I told you, I'm very happy that I'm 47. Actually, it is the COVID that made me put on this weight. Otherwise, I was always... So let the children allow play. But now, how can a child play on a phone, on a PlayStation, and then the children are going to have a bad personality whereby they don't interact with others because all they do is being on phone. And also when the phones have data, the children can go on other sites that are not even healthy for them. So parents, I have a lot to tell you, but I think that one is enough for today.
Oh yes, thank you so much, and I hope Juko has picked a leave
More done.
further to be. Oh yes, now Dr. Nanteza,
Yes.
PhD, Masters.
Doctorate.
Yeah, so while you were talking about what you've done, you talked about the charity foundation. Take us through the charity foundation.
The charity foundation is called Marjorie Charity Foundation.
Nice.
It reminds me of my auntie whom I grew up with in Bulindo. And what I think that inspired me to form that charity was about the life I saw old people, especially the women and also the young girls. I don't know how many times I survived being defiled when I was going to the well and also when I used to go to fetch water. So when I went to Australia, I think those guys were very interested in my childhood life and they felt that they wanted to help me. So I felt that if people from another country want to help, I thought it was very important also for me to help. And in that charity, we basically treat people, these common illnesses like high blood pressure, diabetes, cough, malaria, those simple things. And also for the parents, the young parents, would advise them on how to bring up their children very healthy and to be basically about nutrition. And also, it was more of preventive than curative, because in third world, you better prevent than to treat. So the charity is basically a two-arm, whereby we would treat, but also we used to empower the women. I'm saying we used to because COVID has distorted many things, but I hope we are going to start very afresh. So it is about empowering the women who are the mothers and usually who look after the old ladies. And I'm so happy that I came up with my brothers and the family and friends. And I think we did a good job. Also, we take old clothes. So we give them, you know, in life where you can throw someone, but then it is gold to the other person. And also we could give the basic necessities like salt, oil, hampers, basically to the old, the very vulnerable. And also we used to give them water tanks. Because like I said, in the village when you don't have water, you're going to send your grandchildren to the well, and then they usually get raped or defiled.
So you do a medical section of the foundation, and then again you do donations?
Yes, and also the humanitarian part of it, where we depend on donations from well-wishers, and then always we sit as a group and agree the money we have, what is the best need. And I've seen why people, whenever you want to help someone, you can come in with your idea, but it's very important also to sit down with them and ask them. So when we did a lot of work in Chitukutwe. It is some village after Bulindo. For them, they were pushing more on self-empowerment. So they would tell us what they wanted to do, and then we'd give them some money. But unfortunately, the money somehow, the first phase, the money washed out. But we are like, we can always go back, and maybe there were lessons learned from our side and also from their side. But I think it was a very good venture which we should continue. And I think there are very many well-wishers. He has just told me he has many clothes. He has a very good heart, and he has become a don.
Okay.
him being a newlywed, who with a child on the way, he will know what the other people go through raising a child when they are very poor.
I'm going to donate some of my friends.
Yes, and if I may ask, how often do you do this charity? And again, if somebody wanted to donate something, could you give us an address? How can you be reached?
Be part of
yes, what can we donate in case we really want it? Because lots of people out there have a good heart. Most of our viewers and listeners, they are very, very good heart, and they would like to donate and support him. So how do you get reached out to? Do you have an address? And how often do you do these charity organization, charity movements?
The charity movements, always we are a group, and then the group will always tell us, because when we register the charity, it can work all over the country. So we always go to the villages of the members. So it is the member to say, this time it is me, and then hosting, so it is about the members where they think they want. The last time we felt we were supposed to go to Busoga, but I think there's a lot of donations now going to Busoga. Maybe now we can go to another part, but it is always within us. We always say, which place do we go to? And the person hosting us is one who tells us either it is treatment.
Village.
But always when we go, we have clothes, which we give out. We can have shoes. We always try to give them a meal. You might think a meal is very small, but it is always very important for people to eat on that day, because when we treat, there will be other people talking about other causes, and then always want to have a meal there. And usually I used to do that when we have a birthday, one of us, we shall go and cut the cake with those people there, because some people maybe have never tasted the cake. It used to be very interesting. So anyone can reach me using the Innovation Consortium, because I work with them. You can already
proud member. All right, thank you so much. And there you had it, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful people. Innovation Consortium, not so complicated. We only bring the best and nothing but the best. There you had it. And now, on closing in, parting shot, what have you learned
today?
You need to get a kid. Actually, you need to marry.
What I've learned today, if I find someone covering the kid in Kasana,
okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for the good insight. Hope Semakula you're listening.
Thank you so much, Dimama. And our dear guest.
I'm so
On
blessed.
closing in,
I'm so blessed to be on this show.
Not so complicated.
Not so complicated, but I think it's a bit complicated. And I was very happy to share the few I have, because when you reach our ages, you want to share the little you've learned out of life and share it with other people. So I'm very happy, and I hope it has been beneficial to everyone who has been listening. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Our Bob and Monarch, the dreamer. I like that. My lord. Waliolo unawasoma.
Doctorate. Ate university zitiisa. Tono kukinisi.
Abana bate bagende bazanye Joshua wamugulira PC, right?
Joshua namugulira aina
Agenda kugeja.
aye
Tumuyambe tujibu.
Asamu abyoge.
aja
It is a new person to kujipa.
ojola baleika
Aduke koko.
aduke koko.
Oh yes, thank you, Byron. And father to be. Bakubugiza omukyala asesema.
Yabadde tasoma leero kumakya.
You have the floor.
I have learned that my birthday is tomorrow. But she mentioned something that I found interesting. Many people give advice about health of a child, but she touched on the mental health of a child. Things like play also, and then allowing them to play and learn from their mistakes. So I think that's my takeaway from today. Thank you.
Oh yes, thank you
No
so
facts.
much.
No facts today.
One fact is
I think she spent half of her life studying.
studying.
47.
Abana wafunota.
I'm telling you. How what you question? Let you get to the episode. Then I want to
We'll
get
uncomplicate that in the next
Yes. Yes, and let me close it now. And there you had it from my panel and my beautiful guest, Dr. Barbara Nanteza, PhD, Master.
Doctor.
Yes, and we remain Innovation Consortium. So endeavor to please check us out on all our social media handles at Innovation Consortium, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, everywhere at Innovation Consortium. Endeavor to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Innovation Consortium. We really appreciate and love the love that you show us. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend that the biggest show, interesting show, teaching show, humorous show is in town. The new captain of the show is in town. Thank you so much, and I remain Brian Lyon, your host. I sign out.